At Thanksgiving dinner, my aunt stood up and announced, since she's adopted, I'm contesting the will. Blood is thicker than adoption. My adoptive parent sat frozen. She smiled, nothing personal, but family money stays with real family. I pulled out my phone and said, speaking of real family, then played the recording that ended her. The dining room at my parents' house always smelled like sage and butter on Thanksgiving. 23 people crowded around the extended table, the same configurations we'd held for 19 years, since I was 5 and newly adopted into the Morrison family. My name is Harper Morrison, and from wherever you're watching this, stay with me. Because what my Aunt Patricia tried to do that Thanksgiving became the most spectacular self-destruction our family had ever witnessed. Grandma Rose had passed 6 weeks earlier. 93 years old, sharp until the end, left her estate in perfect order. Or so we thought. I sat between my adoptive parents, David and Claire, the same spot I'd claimed since that first terrifying Thanksgiving when everything was new. Across from us, Aunt Patricia held court with her twin sons, Brad and Blake, both 30, both still living in her basement. Such a shame about Mother's house, Patricia said, carving into her turkey with surgical precision. That beautiful Victorian just sitting empty. The estate lawyer is handling everything, my dad replied carefully. As Rose wanted. Patricia's knife paused. Yes, about that. I've been meaning to discuss Mother's will. The table quieted. My mom's hand found mine under the table. What about it? Uncle Thomas asked from the far end. Patricia stood, tapping her wine glass for attention. Unnecessary. Everyone was already staring. I've given this considerable thought, she began, using her courthouse voice. She was a paralegal who thought she was a lawyer. And I believe we need to address the elephant in the room. Patricia, my dad warned. She ignored him. Mothers will leave equal portions to all grandchildren. But I think we need to consider what Mother really would have wanted. After all, she turned to look directly at me. Blood is thicker than adoption. The silence was deafening. Forks suspended midair. Brad and Blake smirked in unison. I'm contesting the will, Patricia announced. Nothing personal, Harper. But family money should stay with real family. Bloodline matters. Heritage matters. You understand. My adoptive mother started to stand, face flushed with rage. Dad caught her arm. But me? I stayed perfectly still. You're not really a Morrison, Patricia continued, warming to her theme. It's not your fault, dear. But Mother worked too hard for her money to go to. Well, to someone who isn't actually family. Patricia, that's enough, Uncle Thomas growled. I'm just saying what everyone's thinking. Harper's a lovely girl, but she's not blood. She doesn't carry our genes, our history. It's not fair to Brad and Blake to have their inheritance diluted by. By what? I asked quietly. Patricia smiled, that condescending smile she'd perfected over 19 years of family dinners. By someone who doesn't belong here. I've already spoken to a lawyer. Adoptions can be challenged in inheritance cases. Blood relatives have stronger claims. Is that so? I pulled out my phone. Harper, she said patiently, like I was still that confused 5-year-old at my first family dinner. I know this is hard to hear, but facts are facts. You're not really. Speaking of real family, I interrupted, scrolling through my files. I have something you might find interesting. Put the phone away at dinner, Patricia commanded. Just 1 minute. I found the file, hit play, and set the phone on the table. Maximum volume. Patricia's voice filled the room, but slurred. Bar noise in the background. Don't know why Mom insists on keeping up this charade. That kid isn't family. Never will be. David and Claire couldn't have kids, so they bought one. Probably cost less than IVF. Gasps around the table. The recording continued. When Mom dies, I'm contesting everything. That adopted brat won't see a penny. I've been documenting everything. Every family event she attended. Every dollar Mom spent on her. It's fraud, really. Emotional manipulation of an elderly woman. Patricia, Jesus. Uncle Thomas's voice on the recording. She's a child. She's a stranger living off our family's goodness. And when Mom's gone, I'm fixing this mistake. Already talked to lawyers. Adoption challenges in probate are more common than you think. I'll claim undue influence, elder abuse, whatever it takes. That money belongs to real Morrisons. I stopped the recording. The dining room was tomb silent. October 15th, 2016, I said calmly. Recorded at Murphy's Bar. You were celebrating Brad's DUI dismissal, I believe. Patricia's face had gone from red to white to green. You can't, illegal recording. South Carolina is a one-party consent state, I replied. I was there. At the next booth, actually. With the debate team. You never noticed the adopted kid in the corner. Harper, my dad said softly. How long have you known? 7 years. But wait, I pulled up another file. There's more. No, Patricia breathed. This one's from Christmas 2018. I hit play again. Fake granddaughter gets everything I worked for? I don't think so. Already started moving mom's jewelry. She won't notice. Dementia's getting worse. By the time she dies, half the valuable stuff will be in my safe. Let the adopted princess try to inherit what isn't there. You stole from Grandma? My cousin Sarah shot up from her chair. And here's February 2020, I continued, playing the next file. Patricia bragging about taking loans from Rose's accounts. She won't remember. And if anyone notices after she's dead, I'll blame the adopted kid. Say she manipulated mom. April 2021. Another recording. Patricia describing how she'd convinced Rose to sign papers while confused. Power of attorney adjustments. Nothing major. Just making sure I can protect the family assets from outsiders. June 2023. Patricia laughing about hiding Rose's good silverware. Sold it last month. Mom asked about it once. Told her Harper must have taken it. She believed me. The room erupted. Uncle Thomas lunged across the table. Dad caught him. Brad and Blake sat frozen, staring at their mother like they'd never seen her before. I have 43 recordings, I announced over the chaos. 7 years of Patricia stealing from Grandma Rose while planning to frame me. All because I'm adopted. 43? Claire whispered. She really liked that bar. Very chatty after wine. This is entrapment. Patricia shrieked. Harassment. I'll sue. Please do, I smiled. Discovery will be fascinating, especially when they subpoena your bank records. How much did you steal, Patricia? 50,000? 100. She grabbed her purse, hands shaking. This isn't over. Actually, it is. I pulled up one final file. This is from 3 days ago. You at Grandma's grave. Want to hear what you said to her headstone? No. Patricia lunged for my phone. Dad blocked her. I played it anyway. Patricia's voice cold and clear. Finally dead, you old bitch. Took you long enough. Don't worry. I'll make sure your fake granddaughter doesn't get a penny. Blood always wins. Even Brad and Blake looked sick. By the way, I added conversationally, Grandma knew. About all of it. We listened to the recordings together last year. She changed her will after that. Want to know what your portion was originally? Patricia stopped struggling against Dad's grip. 400,000. Same as everyone. But after hearing what you really thought, after learning about the theft, she left you exactly $1. So you can't claim you were forgotten. That's not. The will I saw was from 2021. She updated it in January. Left your original portion to the food bank. In my name. The fake granddaughter's name. Patricia's legs gave out. She slumped into a chair. But here's the best part, I continued. Grandma didn't just change her will. She filed a police report. Elder abuse. Theft. Fraud. They've been building a case for months. Detective Morrison, no relation, said they were waiting until after the holidays to arrest you. But since you brought it up, right on cue, sirens in the distance. Getting closer. You called the cops? Brad finally spoke. No. Grandma did. Last year. They've been monitoring Patricia's accounts, building evidence. I just provided the timeline. And the recordings. All 43. Patricia looked around the table wildly. I'm your sister, she screamed at my dad. Your actual sister. Blood. Harper's been my daughter for 19 years, Dad said quietly. You've been stealing from our mother. Whose family here? The doorbell rang. I answered it. Detective Morrison and 2 officers stood on the porch. Miss Morrison? We received your message. Is Patricia Chin here? In the dining room. Fair warning, she might run. She did try. Made it 3 steps before Uncle Thomas blocked her path. Sit down, Patricia. For once in your life, face consequences. As they cuffed her, Patricia kept screaming about blood rights, about fraud, about fake grandchildren. The twins followed the police car, but we all knew they wouldn't bail her out. Not when they realized their college funds came from Grandma's stolen jewelry. The dining room was quiet after that. 21 people around the table processing. Finally, Sarah raised her wine glass. To Harper, the only one brave enough to protect Grandma. To family, Uncle Thomas corrected. The real kind. The kind you choose. We toasted. We ate. We shared Patricia's stories that suddenly made sense. The missing heirlooms. The confused checks. The way Grandma started recording conversations herself last year. For memories, she'd claimed. She knew I was collecting evidence, I explained. Said it was poetic justice. The fake granddaughter protecting her from the real daughter. Why didn't you tell us? Mom asked. Grandma made me promise. Said Patricia would hang herself if given enough rope. She was right. That night, after everyone left, my parents and I sat in the living room. The same room where they'd first told me I was staying forever. Where Grandma Rose had taught me to knit. Where Patricia had smiled to my face while plotting my exile. I'm sorry, Dad said. For what she put you through. What she said. I'm not, I replied. She showed me what family isn't. You showed me what it is. Mom hugged me tight. Blood doesn't make family. Love does. Time does. Showing up does. I know. Grandma Rose made sure I knew. The will was executed without contest after that. Patricia's dollar was mailed to federal prison, where she's serving 3 years for elder abuse. The twins got nothing. Turned out they knew about the thefts. Everyone else received their portions, including the fake granddaughter, who'd earned her place through love, not blood. I donated half my inheritance to adoption advocacy groups. The other half started a scholarship fund. The Harper Morrison Scholarship for adopted students. Grandma would have loved the irony. At the next Thanksgiving, Patricia's chair sat empty. But the table was fuller than ever. Love expands. Hate contracts. And family? Family is who stands up for you when someone tries to erase your existence. She wasn't wrong about one thing, Uncle Thomas said, carving the turkey. Blood is thicker than water. But you know the full quote. I asked. The blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb. Means the family you choose is stronger than the one you're born into. He raised his glass. To chosen family, then. To chosen family. We drank. We laughed. We told Grandma Rose stories. And nobody, absolutely nobody, questioned who belonged at that table. Because belonging isn't about blood. It's about who shows up. Who stays. Who fights for you when someone tries to say you're not enough. Patricia learned that the hard way. In handcuffs. On Thanksgiving. While the fake granddaughter, she tried to erase, carved the turkey in the seat of honor, surrounded by the family who chose her back. Blood may be thicker than water. But love? Love is thicker than blood. And recordings of attempted theft? Those are thicker than everything. Just ask Patricia. She's got 3 years to think about it.